All right, boys and girls, in this podcast, you'll see me wearing a LewDix Aviation hat. These things are selling like hotcakes. They sold out within 3 days. I've got more on order. LewDixAviation.com. If they're there and not sold out, buy them. If they are sold out, I'm getting more. So just, all right, depending on when this video comes out, it's difficult to tell when I'm going to post stuff. So this is the Welcome to the Sky podcast, your place for stories, news, opinions, and conversations about the best thing in the world, flying. I'm LewDix, your host and friend, as we talk about everything from flight training to the airlines and much, much more. I have a lot to say, so sit back, relax, and let's get this thing off the ground in the Welcome to the Sky podcast. In this episode of the Welcome to the Sky podcast, well, let me throw it back to the previous episode where I said this. Not just keyboard warriors, the authorities as well. They're all watching. Yeah. And like there's been instances where aviation YouTubers have been pulled up by somebody like a keyboard warrior sending stuff to the FIS door.
Oh yeah, getting reported. That happens a lot too.
Yeah. It's so true because people like to see the downfall of people, to be honest. After 8 years of owning a YouTube channel, running it to make the best videos that I can possibly make, the most genuine content, the funniest content, somebody has finally taken exception to it and gone so far as to contact the FAA to complain about one of my videos. Well, let's talk about it, shall we? Because look, the last thing that any pilot, let alone YouTuber, wants to hear is that the FAA is trying to talk to you. That's the last thing that you want to do. But in all honesty, I was quite happy to talk to the FAA because I've spoken to them. I've spoken to them. We've had conversations. Usually that raise a little bit of apprehension, but to be honest with you, I really wanted to talk to the FAA about this issue because I know 100% I was not in the wrong. So I'm more than happy to chat to the FAA about it. So, tell you what, let me read the email that I received, which I kept. I'm going to keep it as a memento for this moment. But it says, "Good afternoon. I'm fielding a complaint regarding one of your videos. The FAA FISDO received an email complaint that in your video, 8 aircraft invade airport restaurant. The aircraft were flying in formation and in violation of Part 91-111. Could you give me a call?" I called him back immediately. Well, the video in question is the one where I fly with Otto, actually, from the previous episode of the Welcome to the Sky podcast. If you've not seen it, go and watch it. It'll be linked. We took a Cherokee up to Ocala to do an airport invasion. During that flight, during the video, I put this part in it. Otto and I are constantly monitoring the position of the other invading aircraft, some of which were flying in formation, which was really cool to see. Otto and I were watching all this. Let me just stop that there and we'll read what 91-111 is. So there's aircraft in the video flying in formation. That's absolutely true. Now, 91-111, operating near other aircraft. No person may operate an aircraft so close to aircraft as to create a collision hazard. If two people are flying a Cherokee and they're like a couple of inches from each other's wing, I'd say that's a little bit dangerous. I don't see any danger from what was just in the video there. But I mean, then again, I wasn't part of the formation flight. However, let's continue. The second part of it says, no person may operate an aircraft in formation flight except by arrangement with the pilot in command of each aircraft in the formation. Now then, the genius that filed this complaint and was so outraged dove deep and tried to find that little grain, and what they thought was that grain in the head was actually probably the brain because they're way off base here. If you're flying in the formation, and I'll say that again, if you are the one flying in the formation, then yeah, you need to be part of the conversations to arrange it prior to flight. Now, this person that filed the complaint looked at the video and was completely blinded by rage. This person has sat at home, I imagine, in the mum and dad's basement, no shirt on, Cheeto crust all over the chest. And they've just thought to themselves, I can't stand this guy's positive attitude and his outlook on life. How can I get him? And then they've found a little thing and they've thought, hold on, this is an illegal formation flight. He's not been part of the pre-flight briefings. He's operating so close to other aircraft and putting it in his video. I've got him. I've got him now. He's mine. No. Let's take that rage blindness and just move it to the the backside for a second, because if you think about this logically and actually listen to what I say in the video, we would have avoided all this. And the FAA wouldn't have had their time wasted by a ridiculous phone call or complaint, whatever it was. But let's listen to this, because if you have a brain that's sized a little bit bigger than a grain, you'll understand this part. Otto and I were watching all this from a safe distance, which caused a little bit of tension in our aircraft.
I can't believe everybody but us is flying in formation.
Well, they arranged it all before the flight, and I was busy filming for this video. Okay, all right. It's debatable as to whether this part of the video was actually funny or not. That's the only part about this that's debatable. Because the fact of the matter is that whether this bit was funny or not, I mentioned in it that we were not part of the formation flight. I didn't mention it, actually. It was Otto that mentioned it in his stupid high voice.
I can't believe everybody but us is flying in formation.
That mentions right there in the video for all to hear that we were not part of the formation flight. Okay? I also said that the regulation was taken care of because the pilots arranged it prior to the flight. I wasn't part of it because I was too busy making a video.
I can't believe everybody but us is flying in formation.
Well, they arranged it all before the flight, and I was busy filming for this video. There it is. That right there should have stopped Cheeto Boy in his tracks, but it didn't. Now, I understand that, like, in videos, you know, things aren't always as they seem. I edit my videos and that, you know, context can be lost and stuff, but there's no way in this situation that you could say that I was part of this formation flight. I was absolutely not. There's no, like, you've got the view all around when it cuts back to us, like, flying. You can see nobody around us in the windows and stuff. Like, it's we're not operating in formation. It's absolutely clear. So that this person has just thought that you know, that they've got something on me, and they absolutely haven't. So the conversation with the FAA, the guy said hello, and first of all said that they've watched my video, which, you know, a little bit nerve-wracking to know that they've gone through my video. But what he said next was really nice. He said it was very entertaining. I said, thank you very much. Why were you even on this phone call? And he goes, well, we've had a complaint where somebody's alleged that you've broken 91.111, which is the regulation I just said. And we've reviewed it, and we see no violation of the regulation whatsoever. In fact, you even say in the video that the regulation was taken care of because the pilots that were involved in the formation flight got together and arranged it before the flight. And I said, absolutely. And he said, so we find no regulation break here. He said, what I would say is that just be careful what you do put into videos, because things can be misconstrued and misunderstood, and that can lead to misunderstandings like this happening. And I said, listen, I've been making videos since 2015. Okay, I've had my fair share of people coming onto my videos and in the comments being nasty in the comments, because that's the type of world we live in now. We live in a world where social media reigns supreme and people have anonymity over the internet, and they think they can say and do whatever they want, and feelings don't matter to these types of people. And I've learned to put disclaimers into my videos. So at the beginning of videos, you'll see, you know, this video is not for instruction. In fact, you know what? Let me read the disclaimer that I put into this, because it's in the description of the video as well. LewDix Aviation videos are edited to be as entertaining as possible. This may remove context. Many procedures, situations, explanations, and flight phases have been edited out. Oh. Do not use for instructional purposes. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I told the FAA, I said, listen, in all my videos, I usually cut out many of the checklists that I do, many of the procedures, many of the explanations and all that, because it makes it a more entertaining video. And after all, this is my YouTube channel. So I can operate it and put whatever I want or whatever I don't want into videos. Now, if somebody doesn't like it and thinks that they can do it better, by all means, go and make your own YouTube channel and try and compete, because it's not as easy as it looks, right? Went through that in the previous episode. But, you know, that's what I told the FAA. I said, you know, I take stuff out. I want to make entertaining videos. And to that, you know, he was absolutely fine with me saying that. And he said, yeah, well, we've also been through your other videos. And I was like, oh, here we go. This is it. All right, he's got me. And I cannot make this up. What the FAA guy said. He said, we've been through your other videos, and we appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate it because your video might be the difference maker in getting somebody up off the couch and getting them into an aircraft and into flight training. As a CFI and as a content creator who is trying to make the most genuine videos possible, the most fun videos possible, and even, you know, when I'm making stupid videos like the CFI video, where, you know, I did the 3 different CFIs with Otto, incidentally, like, well, that's born out of my experiences, and to put it out there in a funny way, but to try and help people that are coming into flight training to watch out for flight instructors like this, because, you know, as exaggerated as that video is, it's true. It's from my own experience, and it happens. And a lot of people on that video commented that they've had similar experiences, obviously less exaggerated than the video. But, you know, you get the point. So to hear that from the FAA, that it's being appreciated, that, you know, what I'm trying to do is amazing. The FAA are the authority for me. They allow me to have my pilot certificates and allow me to operate in the airspace that I do. So to hear that they're, you know, pleased with what I'm putting out there is amazing, and it's a real confidence boost. And at the end of the conversation, the FAA person said, "Your videos are inspiring and entertaining." I can't think of 2 words that sum up what I'm trying to do on YouTube more than those. And, you know, my channel started as me just making videos going through my training process, and it changed once I became a CFI to showing, you know, students, you know, doing lessons and stuff. And people have seemed to identify with it. And although my channel doesn't get the views that other channels get who make big productions and, you know, have beautiful editing and stuff, I will never be that person. I've never been professionally trained in, like, editing and all that. It's all self-learned and self-taught. But I'm putting the stuff out there that I think is genuine to me. And again, to have the support of the FAA, not only the FAA, but all the people that watch my videos regularly, and people that stop in, you know, from time to time to watch some of my videos and comment the nice things that they comment, because it's like 99% good comments and good people that are interacting on these videos, and this 1% that come on and they're just unhappy with their own lives or their own pilot situation. And some of them probably have only ever flown on a simulator. So, I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But it's incredible to me that, you know, to have the support of you people, and also, you know, the FAA. I mean, if I fuck something up in another video, then it's going to be a different conversation. But, you know, that's the line that you toe as an aviation content creator. So, yeah, that's the situation. So some idiot called the FAA. And actually, you know what? I'll show you the thing, because it was actually commented by somebody. Anonymous is what the name was. So I just talked about how, you know, online everybody thinks they've got anonymity and they can say whatever they want. This person literally was anonymous. They said they were literally going to contact the FAA. I was expecting this. I was expecting it, but I kind of dismissed the comment at the time, because I was like, oh, you know what, get away with your negativity. I actually responded to it, but I deleted it because I didn't want the negativity on there. But, you know, I wish I'd have kept it there now, because, you tried. You did your best. You did what you could. I mean, fair play to you. But it didn't work out, did it? You know, that's a really negative thing to happen, right? And I'm not the only one that this has happened to. Like, I was just talking about this with Otto in the previous podcast. It happens with other aviation YouTubers, and for the most part, it's just people at home that are either jealous or unhappy with their own situation. You've got to be in a really low place to try and do this to somebody, and I'm not the only aviation YouTuber that this has happened to, and I won't be the last. But this was my first experience with something like this, and I'm just thankful that the FAA were on my side, and you were on my side for this one at least. So I suggest that, Anonymous, just think before you act, because you've made yourself look really stupid, that you don't know the rules and that you don't listen, and that you've wasted the FAA's time. There's plenty of other stuff going on out there in aviation that they've got to spend their time looking at, and for them to have to stop and look at my video to see that I've done absolutely everything in my power to make sure that I'm operating safely within the regulations. Like, you've made yourself look really stupid. So, speaking of looking stupid, I tell you that I want to make the best aviation content, the most genuine aviation content, and help people and all this. And I spoke in the last episode about how aviation content creators have a duty to make the most genuine content as possible, because people watching aviation videos from the outside, whether you want to come in to be a student pilot or, you know, you're just a casual watcher and like aviation videos, you might not know better than to follow what is going on in some of these videos. I think it's a really dangerous precedent to set, to put dangerous things related to aviation in videos. And I was actually sent something literally just now, today. Now, this video was posted 5 hours ago, and the title of it is Fake Pilot Crashing Aeroplane Prank Gone Wrong, Must Watch. Now, I mentioned in the previous podcast episode that clickbait and aviation videos don't mix. They don't mix well. When we start to set the precedent of going flying to try and find something wrong, you know, with every flight, so, you know, something going wrong, like something malfunctioning, or us putting ourselves into a situation that we think would get views, that doesn't mix with aviation whatsoever. Granted, the Top Notch Idiots YouTube channel is not an aviation channel. They don't know any better. It's literally in the title. They're idiots, right? And I'm an idiot as well, but I don't think I'm an idiot when it comes to aviation. Now, they made this video and rented an aircraft. I'm just going to let some of this play as I talk about it. You can see in the opening for it, they're doing zero-G stuff there with somebody in the back. Okay, they're wearing silly pilot uniforms. They've got people in the back acting. I think it's all acting, to be honest with you. All of this is completely staged. However, it takes a step further away from being staged when you're actually doing dangerous things in the flight to make the video funny. It gets to a certain part where they're pretending that one of the pilots falls ill or whatever. All right, we've all seen that kind of video before. It's the next bit that I saw that I just had to stop, and I was absolutely baffled. Like, the acting in this, by the way, is terrible. Not from the guy that's actually pretending to fall ill, but the people in the back. Good acting by the woman. Great acting by the pilot as well. The actual only one in that aeroplane that knows what they're doing and is responsible as pilot in command for what's going on. 0G. Steep turn. Guy in the back. 0G. I was going to stop it right there. There's a guy in the back of the aircraft and they're doing a spin. There's a Reddit on this. Flight Academy teams up with YouTuber to scare unsuspecting customers as a prank, possibly violating FARs on camera. With the caveat that this may be staged. I mean, it has to be staged because, I mean, the acting was absolutely terrible. They appear to have teamed up with Flight Academy to take people up in a Cessna 172 November for sightseeing flights and then make the passengers think that the aeroplane was crashing. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know of any Cessna 172 POH that approves spins with anybody in the back. In the video, they appear to perform stalls, pushovers, and a spin with the rear seat occupied. A check of the Cessna 172 November POH confirms that while the aeroplane is indeed approved for spins, it is only approved for them while being operated in the utility category, which prohibits the rear seat from being occupied. The risk of having people in the back and having weight to the back of the aircraft is going into what we call a flat spin. A flat spin is literally, as it says, the aircraft kind of spins on a flat plane. You can't get the nose down to break the stall. You can't break the spin. You die. Now, this is a Flight Academy doing this, right? The Flight Academy has obviously said okay to making money from these prank people who need an airplane to go up in and a pilot. What are we doing? What is this Flight Academy and this pilot in particular doing this sort of stuff just for the sake of a clickbait video? People are still not learning. This is on video for everybody to see for the rest of time. And unfortunately for the Flight Academy, they are not in control of this video because it's not their YouTube channel. I don't know what else there is to say on that. It's just incredibly stupid and incredibly short-sighted and just dangerous. Unless it was all done on a green screen. The point is that, again, going back to what I said in the previous video, we have a duty when we're making aviation videos or flying or doing whatever, even if we don't make aviation videos, whatever flights that we do, we have a duty to be safe. And especially if you're an aviation content creator, we have a duty to put out content that is genuine and safe for people to see and follow the example of. Because it's not only you that can be affected, it's other people that can be affected too. The guy that's in the back of that aircraft that's being spun around may not know any better. Probably doesn't know any better. They're relying on you to keep everybody safe. I'm going to finish off this episode with a little bit of a Q&A from the last episode. Last episode, I wasn't able to get to a Q&A because I recorded it before I'd released the one before that. So whatever, timelines. All right, here we go. Let me go through some of these comments here from the previous episode. Have you ever flown a G1000 plane? Do you have something against it, or do you just not do it? I have flown G1000. I just don't have access to G1000. The planes that I use for flight instruction are all steam gauges, or for the most part steam gauges. I just don't have access to a G1000 plane. I will put on record, though, that I do prefer steam gauges. I think learning on steam gauges as opposed to just G1000 stuff is beneficial, although the way the world is going now, everything is becoming electronic and all that. So that's why all these flight schools are going for those types of aircraft, the G1000s. But I really do think it's beneficial to learn, or at least have some time in aircraft that only have steam gauges. Question for the next episode: what are the best ways, your opinion, to build hours for an individual with a goal of getting ATP hour requirements? P.S. Keep up the good work. Been loving the content. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Honestly, for me, the best way is to be a flight instructor. Now, being an instructor is not for everybody. It is time consuming, and it consumes a lot of your patience as well, flying with students that sometimes don't listen to what you're saying. It takes them a long time to understand concepts and stuff. It can be a little bit frustrating at times. However, the reward for being a flight instructor is taking somebody from having no knowledge of how to fly an aircraft whatsoever to getting them to the certificates and ratings and getting them through training. It's a really rewarding process to go through, and it really teaches you a lot and raises your skill level as a pilot. I saw my skill level as a pilot leap so far when I became a flight instructor. So that for me is the best way to do it. There are other ways of doing it that don't kind of involve instructing, but of course when you're instructing, you are not only flying, but you're making money while you fly. So you're getting the hours, but you're also getting paid. Now, how much you're getting paid is a completely other question. Instructors are criminally underpaid for what we do. I'm not. My prices are outrageous. So at like flight schools, it's tough to make a proper living as a flight instructor. But if you're looking to get hours quickly, going to a flight school and being an instructor is the way to go, in my opinion. If anybody else knows of any other ways that might be better than being a flight instructor, let me know in the comments. Would love the podcast to be on Apple Podcasts too. It's already there. Go to Apple Podcasts. You can listen to it there. I'm nothing if not accommodating. Love your sense of fun and sense of humour. Would love to continue my flight training with you. Am I asking too much for you to relocate to Sydney, Australia? On my way, mate. On my way. Hi. I did the exam and was approved, but I'm not confident to start the flights. Any tips to study everything again? Tips for studying? I mean, you've already gone through the written exam, it seems, and you just got to build confidence for the flight. The confidence with the flying portion comes from actually flying and practicing. The proficiency, like aviation is a proficiency game. You only become proficient if you fly, right? And to build your confidence, you have to get out there and see that you can do these things that we need to do, that you are capable, that you have good control over the aircraft, and allowing yourself to fail and to do something not quite as well as you would like to is really important as well. So you have to have an instructor that is going to allow you to make mistakes, but biting the bullet and going trying, the flying is the only way to do it. That's all I can really say. All right, the last question here, Jacob. Quick question. Getting prepped for my check ride. My CFI recommended the private pilot oral exam guide book for preparation. Are there any other modes / methods for training that you can recommend? Yeah, I mean, when I was going through my PPL check ride, I used that oral exam guide, and it really did help me a lot, just going through that and seeing the question and answers. The other thing that helped me as well was that I found a time, which at the time was few and far between. It was a video of a mock private pilot oral exam, and it went way into detail on the different questions and stuff, which in all honesty turned out to be way more than I ever did on the actual check ride. But it really did help me to go through that. So now on YouTube, there are plenty of people that have mock private pilot orals on YouTube. So I would suggest going through those and seeing those, because it kind of gets you in the mode of seeing how it is. When you're going in for your private pilot check ride, you don't know what to expect. That creates a big fear in your brain going into the situation. So once you see how the situation plays out, in a video, that's how it is in real life. You're going to sit with your examiner across from them, you're going to present them your documents, you're going to go through your documents and then go through all the paperwork and stuff, and then they'll get to the thing, and what you'll see is that it's just a casual conversation between you and your examiner. So seeing that, in a YouTube video really helped me, and it will help you as well. So, I mean, going through the oral exam guidebook and using your tools online as well. We're in an age where online you can find everything. So do some searches on YouTube for oral exam or mock oral exams, and you'll be golden, in my opinion. Those questions are from episode 2. I'm recording this before episode 3 goes out, so I'm a little bit behind, but we'll catch up. We'll catch up at some point. You've seen me wear this hat throughout the podcast today. The LewDix Aviation hats are back in production and being sent to me at the moment. Actually, by the time this video comes out, they might be back available on my website. So go and check LewDixAviation.com if you want to get a hat and support the channel. You can also support by subscribing here on YouTube, following on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because I've put the podcast on Apple Podcasts now, so it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Go over there, listen to it on your drive to work, on the drive to the airport, wherever you're driving to. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.